Hey guys, it's just Smith, y'all. We are almost finished with this practice test. Here we go. We did number 16, which was the circle, so now we're on number 17. We've got 3 lines. We've got 3 lines. All 3 are solid. We have 3 solid lines. We have a less than or equal, which is a solid, and we're going to make this one say y equals. So we have 2x plus y is less than or equal to 6. We're going to subtract that on this. Y is less than or equal to negative 2x plus 6. Okay, so we have a solid, and we're going to do less than, so we're going to shade below. All right, so let's get some points for 2x plus, get this one. So we'll plug in 0, we can plug in 2. I'll plug in 0, it's negative 2 times 0 plus 6. I'm going to get 6, and if I plug in 2, I get 2. So there's my first line. 0, 6, 0 on the x, and 6 on the y. And 2, 2 is here. We've already said this is going to be a solid line. So I'm going to draw this as a solid line. Way down. And I said we're going to be shading down. So I'm going to just take a little arrow and shade down. Now here's the problem. You can't do this on MyLab. You absolutely have to do this on paper. You have to do it on paper first and then transfer your knowledge to your MyLab. I'm sorry you don't like that, but it will make life a lot easier if you'll try it that way. Okay, so now the next 2 lines are specialty lines. These are specialty lines. X is greater than negative 7. This is a vertical line because when it just has a plain X, X is negative 7 is a vertical line at negative 7. We have a vertical line. It is solid at negative 7. Greater, x greater, is actually to the right. X greater is to the right. So I've got the solid line, and I'm shading to the right. Okay, so now we see the section that's getting enclosed. We have a section that is being enclosed. Next we have the y. The y is less than or equal to 2. This is also solid, but this is a horizontal line. Y2 is right here, so a horizontal line right here, and it's less than, so that's down. So now we're starting to see this shaded section come into light. The red, the blue, and the orange. This is the solution. This is the shaded section of the 3. Let's do another one. This one we have 2 lines and then our 2 specialty lines. All right, let's go ahead and do those specialty lines. They're quick and easy. This one is a vertical line at negative 2. It is solid. All of these lines are solid. And this one says greater than. So we have this vertical line at negative 2, and we're doing greater than. Our next specialty line is a horizontal, and it's Y6. Y6 is right here at the top. Okay, it's horizontal and it's a solid. All of these are solid, and this one's a less than. So less than. So again, less than. So we're looking at this section here. Okay, now the other 2 lines, we need to make them say y equals. We'll do a little work now. Okay, so for the first one, which says 5x plus y is less than or equal to 10, I need it to say y equals, so we'll subtract the 5x on both sides. And I have y less than or equal to negative 5x plus 10. We said it was solid. Y less, it's solid, and I'm going to shade down. So let's plug in 0 and 2. Those are just the typical ones I like. I might have to plug in something different depending on the numbers I get. If I plug in 0 for x, I get 10. That is off of my graph. I may not use that one. If I plug in 2 for x, I get 0. That's good. Let's do another one. Let's plug in 1. Let's see if we can plug in 1 just to get another number. That's going going to give me negative 5 plus 10, which is 5. So I have 0, 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have 2, 0, 1, 2, 0. And I'm going to head and do the 1, 5 just because I want more. Again, you don't need but 2 points. I did that third just because my graph's not quite big enough. Okay, this is solid. So I'm going to try to connect these dots with a nice solid line. There we go. And it is less than. So I'm going to get my little marker and shade down. Okay, so now we're starting to see in the section below the orange line, below the purple line, we're starting to see this section come about. All right, let's do our last line. Again, we need to make it is 3x minus y is less than or equal to negative 1. We need to make it say y equals, so we'll subtract the 3x on both sides. Negative y less than or equal to negative 3x minus 1. And this is just like the one we did before. We have to flip. We have to divide everything by the negative 1. And that forces a flip. We did this on number 14. And so now it's y greater than or equal to 3x plus 1. Okay, so we're going to have a solid, but we're going to shade up. It's going to be y is greater. It's solid, and we go up. All right, again, we're going to plug in 0, plug in 2. So I plug in 0, that's 3 times 0 plus 1, which is 1. So 0, 1. If I plug in 2, I get 3 times 2 plus 1, which is 7. Might be a little harder. So I have 2, 7. Okay, let me plug in negative 1 to get a better point. Let's plug in negative 2. So 3 times negative 2 plus 1. Negative 6 plus 1 is negative 5. Okay, so there's my line. It is a solid line. Here we go. And I am shading above it. Above it. Okay, so now you can see below the yellow, there one, below this one, above this one. Do you see where all these arrows are coming together in this shape right there? Okay, now on all of these you can test. I have not shown you how to do a test point, but all of them you can test real quick. Test point. Test. Pick a number that you shade. Pick a point that you shade. So there's a point that I shade. That point is negative 1, 4. If I plug negative 1 for x and 4 for y in all 4 of my equations, I should get a true on all 4. That is like a test. Okay? I didn't mean to erase that whole line, just a piece of it. There we go. Okay, so if I'm going to do that, I'm going to plug in 5 times negative 1 plus 4. Is that in fact greater than or equal to 10? 3 times negative 1 minus 4. Is that in fact greater than or equal to negative 1? Negative 1 greater than or equal to negative 2. And 4 less than or equal to 6. I need to test to see if all of these are true. Doing the mental calculation. This would give me negative 1, which is less than 10. That checks. This gives me negative 7, which is less than negative 1. That checks. Negative 1 is less than negative 2. That checks. 4 is less than 6. It checks. My test point is correct for all of them. That is something you can do. Okay. Number 19, quadratic formula. If you have not memorized the quadratic formula, you need to memorize it today. YouTube quadratic formula song and learn a song. That is the best way to memorize it. It makes life easier. First, we need to set it equal to 0. So 3x squared minus 2x minus 12 equals 0. Then we're going to determine our a, b, and c. A is 3, b is negative 2, c is negative 12. we're going to plug it into the formula. So x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c. It's supposed to be a times, it doesn't look like one. All over 2 times 3. Okay, check your signs. Always check your signs. Okay, so this is going to become a plus, so that'll be a positive 2. This is going to become a plus because it's a negative times a negative, which becomes a plus. So in my radical, I'm going to have a positive 4 plus 144, because 4 times 3 times 12 is 144. So in my radical, I'm going to get 148. Break that down. 4 goes into both of the 4 goes into this. So 4 times, use my division, 37. Is that right? I think so. 37 doesn't break. So this is going to be 2 radical 37. So we have 2 plus or minus 2 radical 37 over 6. Now this is where everybody is struggling. Everybody is struggling. These three numbers, not the 37, they're all divisible by 2. You can lower them by dividing by 2. You can put it in lowest terms. So 2 divided by 2 is 1. 2 divided by 2 is 1. And 6 divided by 2 is 3. And this is an appropriate answer. You must do that reducing. Put them in lowest term. That's where everybody's screwing up. Alright, solve this one. This is an inequality. We're going to factor this because we wanted to know where it's going to be equal to 0. We got two things. We need to know where it's equal to 0, and then we're going to turn around and figure out where it's greater than 0. Where is it equal to 0? It's going to be equal to 0. We factored it. It's going to be equal to 0 at positive 5 and negative 2. So on my number line, positive 5 and negative 2, it's equal to 0. So those are actual points that are going to be on my answer. Now I need to know where it's going to be less than. Less than 0 is negative. Okay, so now I'm going to plug in 3 numbers to determine if it's negative. So I'm going to test a number that's over here, so negative 3. Test a number in the middle. Test 0, and test a number over here, I can test 6. Okay, so when I test negative 3, I literally plug negative 3 into the original problem and decide, is it in fact less than 0? So I have 9 plus 9 minus 10, and that's a no. That is no. That is not less than 0. Okay, so now I'm going to test 0. 0 squared plus 3 times 0 minus 10. Is that going to give me less than 0? So that's 0 plus 0 minus 10. Yes. Negative 10 is less than 0, so yes. So that is part of my answer. This is a yes. Okay, now my prediction is, remember it says equal, so I got that part. So now the next piece I'm going to do is test 6. It should be a no. Why? Because I've done enough of these. This should be a no. So I have 36 minus 18 minus 10. Is that in fact less than 0? It's 18 minus 10. That's 8. No. Okay, so now what does this represent for my answer in interval notation? This is bracket, negative 2, 5 with the bracket. And that's my number line. So this is my interval notation, and this is my number line. That's it, y'all. It's just math, y'all. You have a couple more days to take this test than originally planned. Check your emails, watch the videos. You can do it.